Welcome back to Nickals and Dimes. Today we have an awesome guest, Matt Brown, 2015 NCAA champion, three-time All-American for Penn State wrestling. We're going to talk about his career, get into just his life and all the lessons that he's learned through the sport, and it's an awesome pod. So enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe.
All right, so real quick, I was making this.
Okay.
It was early in the morning. I was on a call, and there was stuff over all over my desk. Okay. And so I was trying to move it, and I was talking, animated, and I sit down, and I freaking knock this thing over. And
I'm getting nervous right now. I'm in the splash zone.
Yeah. Seriously.
And I knock this thing, and it goes all over my leg. And usually I make it so it's a couple notches below boiling for a French press for coffee.
Yeah.
But I remember it boiling, and I was like, this is really hot to put in here, whatever. So I put it in. So it was fresh, probably still bubbling. And I knock it over. It falls all down my leg. And it takes 2 seconds for my brain to register it. And then I just start screaming bloody murder. I'm just ah! Bro, it hurts so bad. And so I immediately went to ChatGPT, and they said to go in the shower with cool water, but don't put ice on it, and don't have it cold. And thank the Lord, so I ran in there, and that was the only thing that was keeping me sane.
Wow.
And I got out of the water a couple times to make sure my dog wasn't drinking up the coffee and stuff. And it was a 9 out of 10 with pain.
It was that bad.
It was bad.
Wow.
And I've experienced pain.
Yeah.
But it was just when you get a little burn and all the heat starts to isolate to that.
It's almost
area.
inflamed. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it just felt it was continually getting burned. And then it started blistering immediately, and it cut through a little bit of my leg. And so I was just in the shower, and I had so many calls lined up, and I'm just what the heck? And so I have my leg elevated, and I'm in there for an hour, and I'm this is not getting better. So I looked online again, and it was if you have a burn more than 3 inches, or blisters, or white, if you're seeing white, you need to go to the ER.
Yeah, you were 3 for 3.
I was 3 for 3, yeah. Yeah. And I hate freaking going places like that. And so I was just I should probably go. And so my wife came home, took me there, and I was just give me 5 minutes. I have to really get locked in, because when I leave this shower, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And so I took some pain meds, and then just locked in, and I was grunting the whole time to the ER.
Oh my gosh.
And got to the ER, they made me wait 15 minutes, and
you're just sitting there.
Yeah, so I'm just just locked in, and then they got in, and I was should I be here right now? And they were yeah, you should be here. I was all right, good.
So what they do for you? They just put some stuff on it and wrap it up?
Yeah, a bunch of ointment and wrapped it up. And then they were do you need serious meds? And I was no. And then it's been good. So I slept on it last night, and it was fine. But
okay.
Does it feel a little bit better now?
Yeah, it feels a lot better. It just have to keep taking care of it. And they were I was can I train? And they were you can't wrestle, but you can lift. And I was okay, then that's fine.
Right.
And they said don't go in the sun for 6 months. And I was it's not gonna.
6 months.
Yeah.
Don't go in the sun for 6 months.
What the scarring?
Oh, it'll scar.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they did it with my shoulder too.
Oh, really?
I just let it scar.
Yeah, right.
So I don't really care, but that was it. So that was the first 6 hours of my day.
You're gonna be telling that story the rest of your life. This scar.
Dude, you know what's weird? I don't know what it is, but
I got this scar.
You have that's basically the same story repeated over your life many times.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Should probably clear that energy.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. The thing with your foot.
Yeah.
And then the thing with your leg.
Yeah.
And then your shoulder, obviously. Well, that was a little different. But, because it was a more in sports. But the other things, feel like you've done this a couple times.
I jumped on a nail, which was a little different, but that
Ouch.
was painful. Yeah.
Yeah, snapped your tibia.
It's not my tibia, but that was football. So, yeah.
It's like you don't have little things.
No, yeah. No, no.
0 or all the way.
It's just the way that I choose to live my life.
I guess, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my story. So,
Nice.
welcome, Matt Brown.
Yeah. How's it going, Matt?
Good. It's going really well.
Yeah.
Just in town visiting, so happy to be here.
Yeah. When you come back and visit and stuff, is it like pretty cool, nostalgic feeling and see all the places you've been and everything?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, all the memories, we were here for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
So we have our favorite spots and we
Right.
try to hit all those. And
Yeah.
it's fun.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you miss being around the program?
I do. A lot of lessons, like, obviously I still have, but when I think about the coaches or the guys, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good to see them. You know, I saw a lot of
Right.
teammates that are still with the club.
Is it crazy you how many people are still here that were like on the team with you and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of the club guys
Yeah.
were my teammates.
Yeah, right?
The actual team, I know less.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, that's one thing that was always interesting to me because my wife, so she was on the track team and as well as Tony's and like all their friends, you know, when they graduated, like moved away, they're doing their thing. And we had, I mean, I would say it's getting less and less, but like really up through 24, there was a lot of guys like still here from those years that almost everybody had been there like close to a decade and
Yeah.
like all these people. And it's like, wow, it's really crazy. Like we finished school, then a lot of us stay together. Like, I mean, even you were here for a few years
Yep.
post grad and everything. So yeah, it's like, it's crazy. There's not really situations like that
Right.
where the groups stand.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, then a lot of the guys, like Morgan came back.
Yeah.
It's a hard place to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a magnet. It sucks you back a little bit. And
Yeah.
as you grow your family, it's just also like, oh, it's a good place for a family too.
Definitely. Yeah, that's one thing that I like about being here is even if people move away, they end up always coming back for something. There's always reasons to come back, whether it's wrestling match or visiting or whatever it is. So yeah, it's nice to have like the people like you don't. A lot of times if you move somewhere else, like there's no real reason to see each other, but here it's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna be that old alum coming in, watching practice.
Yeah.
At some point, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd love to come back and
Right.
catch a duel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still in good shape though. You were scrapping yesterday.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I had not been on the wrestling mat with like wrestling shoes in years. So
Really?
Wow.
it was
Wow.
fun.
Nothing. Just
Yeah, I mean,
straight
I
back
work out
into
a
it.
lot, but
right. What do you do for fitness?
kind of a even split between running and lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Army, I want to be fit, and
Right.
so yeah, just probably 3 days run, 3 days lift.
Yeah. Does that for you like, so for me, I'm not like super motivated to just like do that. Obviously you have the Army for a reason to do it. I only like lift and do that for really like my sport. Is it hard to do that for you or do you like doing that?
I find it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Getting out there, running, and kind of away from people, and just have your thoughts. And then lifting, you want to get strong, right?
Yeah.
So like, obviously,
Yeah.
you want to get strong. So
Yeah. That's more his style. Like he likes that stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah, I mean it's funner when you're training for something, but I do enjoy the training aspect of it. Do you incorporate like a lot of the stuff you learned here, or kind of mix of what you learned in the military?
kind of a mix. Still use a recovery day once a week. I mean, that's kind of a standard, and then I still use. But we didn't lift heavy. I mean, you did because you were putting weight on, but
Yeah,
it's not like we were putting a lot of like Olympic lifts and stuff. And I still don't do a lot, but
yeah,
enough. Right?
yeah. I think that probably stems from like Coach Kale, and those guys didn't lift much in college. So I think it kind of like their system is not super lifting based because I think you don't need to be that lifting based for wrestling. Obviously the staples matter, and if you're putting on weight, it matters a lot. But I think like their style was more technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In wrestling through positions,
Yeah.
right? Getting strong, like in on a leg.
Yeah.
Just wrestling there.
Yeah,
As
for
opposed
sure.
to lifts.
Yeah, I remember a massive wake-up call for me because I was never really like a strong guy. Like coming up, I was always like a little bit slimmer, and I used the technical side in wrestling. And then I remember it was either on my visit or like one of the first weeks I was here. I saw you doing pull-ups with like 100-pound dumbbell. And I was like, okay, that's different. But all right. Like, I didn't even think that somebody could do that. I was like, that's not real, but you just freaking repping it out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to get stronger, I guess. So that's important.
That's definitely one that translates to wrestling.
100%. Yeah.
There's some really important ones that do help a lot.
Yeah. When you were on your mission, you were like just running and doing pull-ups and push-ups and
I wasn't even running that much.
Yeah.
I did P90X. So
P90X.
Yeah. So push-ups, and then I had them fabricate me like a pull-up bar that I could fit in my door, and I was just doing pull-ups. Kind of similar thing. We'd strap weight on and then try to do pull-ups.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Coming back from that, did you feel like pretty in shape still? Took a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So I graduate high school in 2008, and then in 2009 I serve a 2-year mission. And then I come back to Penn State, and it took me a couple months probably to catch my legs and be able to move my feet. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And then I sit that year because I'm behind Ed Ruth.
Right.
So I don't start right away. I get to wrestling in some matches, but
yeah. Talk to me about your mission. What was that like and that experience, and
yeah,
did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I served in Mozambique and Angola, 2 countries in Africa. Learned Portuguese. I proselyted my faith, taught about Jesus Christ. Got to love the people of Mozambique and Angola, and still have some contacts, and just love the culture and love what I was doing. I felt like I was helping people find God, and it was a blast.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I'm 19 to 21 years old and kind of in this country, away from my family, and good growing experience for sure.
Wow.
What was the process like for choosing where you were going to go?
You don't really choose. You put on your application on, do you want to learn a language, and do you want to serve outside the U.S.? And I'm like, yes to both.
Wow.
So when you open that mission call, and I was like, Maputo, Mozambique. I had no idea where this is. Yeah. So it was cool.
That's crazy.
Do you learn the language separately, or were there people there that spoke Portuguese?
So you learn a little bit before you go at the missionary training center, and then it's kind of like on the job, figure it out.
Dang.
So that probably took me 6 months until I felt comfortable and really fluent.
Yeah. What's a day like for you when you were on mission?
Yeah, that's a great question. We wake up, we're supposed to exercise, and I took full advantage of that.
Yeah.
Then you study the scriptures and Word of God, and then you get out and talk to people. See who's interested, see if they want to learn. So
yeah,
do that until like 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Plan for the next day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd get a little workout in at night.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it like culturally, and I guess how did you make connections with people over there?
That's a good question. So being white in Mozambique and Angola was a rarity.
Yeah.
And so they were like, what are you doing here?
Right.
So that opened up conversations. And they're very welcoming. I felt very welcomed, and they did very poor, right? Very meager circumstance, but they would give you some juice, right? And that's like a big deal. Like they'd invite you in, and very generous and very humble. And then you can learn, well, at least I learned, how people can be happy with very little. So that's a lesson. Every time I'm feeling ungrateful, or it's your birthday, and you're like, oh, I only got this. You're like, holy cow. Yeah. Think about those people.
Yeah.
It's just very cool to see how they live and what they have and what they can be grateful for.
Dang. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Were they pretty open to the faith and what you're communicating?
Yeah, they were. Africa in general, the church is growing a lot. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they're, like I said, they're humble. And so I think that gives them some inclination to find God, maybe. And anybody can find God, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're struggling, maybe we look towards God more.
Yeah, I can see that. When you went on that mission, did you know that you were going to be coming to Penn State after?
No. So I started at Iowa State with Coach Kale and Coach Cody and Coach Cunningham. And then I was like, Iowa State, I could go here. And then my second year, Penn State wins it. And I'm like, oh my, that'd be kind of cool. Let's see what this is about. We have Penn State ties. My dad's a Penn State alumni. So
I didn't know that.
alumni.
That's cool. Yeah.
So we grew up being Joe Paterno fans and coming to Penn State football.
Nice. Yeah. So that worked out really well for you then.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, perfect.
Like a little break till you guys start winning. Okay.
My parents are from Altoona, which is like
Oh,
40
really?
minutes.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but you weren't born in Pennsylvania?
No, born out in Utah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. But did you come back and visit as a kid?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I took an unofficial with the former coaches, and they were like, okay, thanks for coming.
Really?
Oh, wow.
They weren't interested.
No.
No.
Huh. That's wild. That's crazy how that worked out.
Yeah.
So grateful.
Yeah. Well, it's like perfect timing with your mission and then able to just like, because they were, what was it? They came in 2009, maybe?
Yeah, going into the 9 to 10 season.
Yeah. Dang. Nice. Let's rewind a little bit. So let's talk about how did you get into wrestling? Was it through your dad or did he wrestle or anything?
Dad did not wrestle. Just a classmate, I think, in probably kindergarten. He was wrestling and invited me out.
Yeah.
Started it. It's nice because I was smaller, so
Okay.
you could still like do well, even though you're not the biggest guy.
Yeah. Right away when you first started, did you like it a lot? Did you have like a natural ability or were you kind of like just
I was kind of like tough, right?
Okay.
So didn't know any moves, but I did well enough. And then they said, oh, maybe you should go to a club.
yeah.
And then I got really lucky at the club I went to, Treehouse Athletic Club. Actually, David Taylor trained there.
Yeah.
Jason Chamberlain trained there.
Yeah.
A bunch of Greco guys trained there. So
I
got
remember
lucky.
who's the coach?
Ivan Ivanov.
Ivanov. That's right. So I remember you guys used to have like really cool singlets. They had like that little they were like red with like a white leg, I think. Yeah. Because I mean, where you were at was not super far from where I was growing up. So a lot of those guys I would like watch. They were older, but I would watch them at a tournament or whatever, and you guys were killing it.
Yeah.
Good club.
Very lucky to be in that club.
Yeah.
I showed up and I was like, oh my word, what am I doing here?
Wow.
They're just hitting arm spins and arm throws and head throws. And I'm like, I just came from high school.
Dang.
Like Little League club.
Yeah. With Coach Ivanov, obviously a very interesting like style and kind of probably outlook on the sport, different from like typical American style. Did you feel like that was beneficial for you to like kind of see that?
Obviously it was, right? I didn't notice at the time. I just was like, oh, what is this coach doing? And
Right.
I go to Western Regionals.
Yeah.
And I like don't place. I get 0-2. I'm like, oh, maybe freestyle's not for me. Maybe this isn't for me. But
Yeah.
I just stayed with them, and then I had some success.
Yeah. So when for you was the first time that you kind of realized in wrestling, like, I'm pretty good. Like I can like compete with the best, and you feel like, you know, you maybe turned a corner or something like that?
I don't know, because I kind of had doubts, like even when I get to Iowa State,
Wow.
right? Because I didn't place in Fargo, and that's kind of like a benchmark or a lot of people look to.
Yeah.
I won some Utah State titles, but it's like, well, it's Utah, right? You know, it's not Pennsylvania, it's not Jersey. But showing up to Iowa State and competing, and then competing as soon as I get here off my mission, I'm like, oh, okay. Southern Scuffle was big. I had Ed Ruth in the finals. I beat ranked kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I was trying to figure that out all the way through.
Right. Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Factor. Summer's here, and that means I'm headed down to Florida to get some training in. I got to travel, figure out a routine, and honestly, the last thing I want to worry about is what I'm eating every day. That's why I'm using Factor. Factor's meals are chef-crafted and dietitian approved, and they're ready in just 2 minutes. No cooking, no cleanup, no stress. Perfect when I'm living out of a suitcase, grinding through training, and still trying to fuel my body the right way. Whether I'm looking for a high-protein, calorie-smart, or keto options, Factor's got it all. I can choose from 45 meals every week, so I never get bored, and I always stay on track. From breakfast through dinner, even snacks and desserts, Factor has me covered from sun up to sundown. And when I'm this locked in, that consistency matters. I'm excited to start using this, and if you're looking for delicious, easy meals, you should definitely use Factor, especially if you want to enjoy summer without wasting time in the kitchen. Get started at factormeals.com/BO50OFF and use code BO50OFF to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code BOW50OFF at factormeals.com/BOW50OFF for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/BOW50OFF. Now back to the show. So, did you know when you were younger, like, hey, I want to like pursue this? Like, this is something I want to do in college and just continue to get better at?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a coach, Gabe Vigil, who wrestled at Boise State.
Oh,
So when you see somebody like, oh, okay, he wrestled in college, I can do that.
right.
That was very helpful. And so I figured, I can, All-American or something.
Yeah, that was kind of like the thought, like, oh, like if I keep working, like NCAA All-American.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah, in coming out of college, I had Army on my mind, so I was going to go to West Point, and that's, if I don't go to Penn State, maybe I am an All-American at West Point. I just,
right.
I don't think I'm in the finals or up there winning it.
right.
Do you think being tough was like your greatest attribute growing up? Or what kind of made you stand out if technically you didn't feel like you were advanced?
Yeah, I think it probably was, and just working hard and kind of being scrappy. But it was fun too.
Yeah.
Just wrestling.
So you enjoyed it like right away?
I enjoyed it more in college
Okay.
because I was cutting weight in high school. There was
Yeah.
pressure. Like, I was good for my school, obviously, good for Utah, but there was some pressure, and I didn't know how to deal with that.
Interesting. We'll get back to that, but I want to go back on what Tony kind of said about the toughness. So where did that come from? Like, did you just always have that naturally, or what was it? How did that kind of develop?
I don't know. I played a lot of sports growing up.
Yeah.
My parents did a good job getting me involved in sports, so I don't know. I didn't like to lose too
Right.
much.
That was just in you though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents aren't super competitive people, and I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah. It was just in there. Whatever sport you were doing, you were like trying to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Run and gun or whatever it is.
I love running gun.
I think it was fun.
We don't play run and gun anymore.
No.
Only dodgeball.
I did ultimate frisbee in my like intramurals. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. You're like, I know how this
You're like,
goes.
how do you play this?
That's
was
great.
fun.
Yeah, no, that's fun. So back to you kind of learning and developing, I guess, on the mental side in college. When you first got with the coaching staff at Penn State and stuff, it was probably a big adjustment from what you were used to and kind of their mindset and philosophy. Like, how did you take that in right away?
The biggest part was like cutting weight. Obviously, I still cut a little bit of weight, but it wasn't the focus. And how Coach Kale and the team kind of focuses on effort, and we don't care. We'd rather have you wrestle to the end. I don't want you looking at the score and kind of like glancing over to try to hold on to a win. That was a big mind shift change for me, right? We're here to do our best. We're not here to like squeak out victories. So that was helpful.
Yeah.
Because at that point, okay, just forget about all that and just wrestle hard.
Yeah. Did that motivate you a lot more to like hear that kind of message and to really see people like living that way, like, or competing that way? I mean,
Yeah. So I saw like disappointment in Coach Kale the one time when I like looked over, and he was like, I thought you were here to wrestle. I didn't think you were here to just hold on.
dang.
And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So
Yeah.
that was different.
Yeah.
That was motivating.
That was a big moment. You still like remember that pretty vividly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, that brings up one for me, man. Oh, you probably remember, you might remember this, you might not, but we were wrestling. It was my redshirt year, and it was one of, I forget, we were doing something where it was like top bottom, and it was basically like two kind of teams. It was like if you did the task, you like raised your hand, and then the other side did the same thing, and you see who got more people like accomplish the task. And you were kicking my butt, and Coach Casey came up to me and was like, "Hey, Bo, do we need to get you a new partner? We can trade you guys out." And I was like, it was like, I was so mad.
Yeah.
And I was also like, it was a lot of emotion in general. It was anger, and I was also just like so disappointed in myself and a little embarrassed. But I remember it vividly. I was like, wow, like I gotta freaking step it up. You know, because I think I was feeling sorry for myself a little bit too. I was like, for whatever reason, but I was just like not giving my best. And yeah, that was like, wow, I got to freaking pick it up.
They'll stick with you.
It does, for sure, for sure.
We both train with you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky.
Yeah.
You guys, it was fun.
You helped us out a bunch. And
So much.
You also are like the sole responsible party for why our necks feel the way that they do.
Oh, shut up.
Especially
Rough.
his. Yeah.
Mine
One time we got this
never been the
exam.
same.
We got this like exam where they like did an X-ray or MRI on our necks, and his was all jacked up. It was supposed to be on his back.
This
and
is
they were
real.
Like, he was like, just forget about it. That's just Matt Brown.
Yeah, we saw this guy, and so this is so funny. So we saw this guy who was kind of a doctor. He was like a chiropractor, but not really. He was more like a doctor. He had some interesting ways of going about stuff. And so they did a full spinal MRI, like see everything. And we were literally just supposed to be focusing on our lower back. And the guy was like, "What did you do?" Like he was so like, I'm like,
fall off a horse?
And yeah. And then I was like, no, I don't worry about that. Just do what you were gonna do. This is what it is. So, and he was like, okay, like so, so confused. He's like, you've been in like a car accident, like 10 times.
No, but training with you was a huge game changer for me. Hand fighting wise too, like that was just a different feel. Was that like a big part of your style, like wearing guys down, and how did you develop that like aggressive hand fight?
Yeah, maybe is lack of confidence shooting, so I feel like I had to move them more. But Coach Cody was like, you got to be able to win without just breaking people, and like, so I tried to work on that, and I got some shots, but I went with Levi Haynes yesterday. I'm like, oh my, he's good.
Yeah,
like his hands are heavy.
Kind of similar, yeah.
You guys have a similar style, I would say. Yeah, wrestling Levi, he has a heavy hand fight.
Yeah,
I feel like when I wrestle him, sometimes I get flashbacks where I'm like, dude, just shoot on me, please. Like, please shoot. I'm just gonna stand up. Please shoot. No, but I feel the same as Tony. Like being able to wrestle you so much as a redshirt, I was like, it taught me so many things. One, I was like, I got to get way better, and two, I was like, I got to figure out how to like do this thing, because I never did that. I was like always out in the open, like shoot from the open, fake, go misdirection or hit something slick. But that I was like the tie-ups and the hand fight, it was a different it was almost like a different sport having to learn it, but it was good.
You guys are funny because like you got good so fast, and I was like, okay, I can control these kids, and then I can't get a takedown. Like, what the heck just happened? Like what switch flipped?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was like, I mean, probably similar with you when you first got to Penn State. Like, talk to me about that process of, building confidence early in your career and being able to like, okay, all of a sudden now you're in the finals of that scuffle. Like you're like, I'm beating ranked guys. Like I want to be, the best. I mean, you obviously had a goal of being All-American, but now you kind of see like, oh, I can like really get there.
Yeah, I saw my teammates doing right. I was sandwiched between Ed Ruth and David Taylor. I'm like, okay, well, I got to step it up. Yeah. I don't want a hole at my weight.
Right.
And then probably similar to how you felt, it's like not being the guy for a year, and then you're like, all right, this is my chance.
Yeah.
So going to try to make the most of it.
Yeah. The first, I guess, season where you were starting every match and stuff like that, how did you feel with the competitions and the consistency, and did you feel like that helped you get a lot better?
It did. I took some losses though in the Big Ten, right? I lose my weight was kind of all over the place with ranked guys, upsetting each other. So I had lost it several times, and then I get to the Big Ten tournament and I win it, and so I was like, okay, this is great. And then I do well at the NCAA tournament that year too. But my regular season was not like without issue.
Right. Did you feel like going into the postseason, were you confident? Were you loose? Were you relaxed?
Maybe because some of my losses, I could just wrestle free.
Yeah.
And so I went out there and I was able to do well, but the coaches do so well.
Yeah.
You don't know how prepared you are until you start wrestling, and you're like, oh, like this is
great.
Yeah. Way better than these guys.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Because I mean, it's very obvious. Year in, year out, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's secret sauce, and if there was,
Right.
I'm not gonna give it up. You know?
Yeah. I don't feel like it's a secret. Like, I don't know what we're doing, I think, some things differently than other programs and stuff, but it's not like magic.
Yeah, but I've never wrestled with another coach.
Yeah,
That's true.
So we don't really know what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
that's true.
I guess
And
it's
I
hard
don't
to
want
say.
to.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. I just had a memory pop up that I want to go over. Talk about your match. I think it was maybe your freshman year, you wrestled Max Huntley, Michigan at 197.
Yeah.
So you were 74.
Yep.
Dang.
Team needed somebody step in at 197.
Yeah, I think there was an injury at 197. I'm behind Ed Ruth at 74, so I still make weight at 74. They did the same thing in Nebraska. I got to wrestle. I think they were just trying to get me exposure in matches.
Yeah.
And I stepped up and wrestled Michigan kid as well, and it was fun. Just kind of a gritty hand fight the whole time. And
he was like a ranked guy at 197.
Yeah, I think he ended up All-American at some point.
Yeah, and you were 2 weights below coming up, and were you just like going in like, all right, let's do it, like,
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Have some fun.
I wrestled big guys all the time, and
heavyweight slayer.
heavyweight slayer. Watch out.
Those poor guys, bro. Those 97 pounders. They're like, oh, we got a little backup. 74 pounders. 2 minutes in, he's like, what the? That's crazy. What was it like after you first All-American? Did you feel like your goal was accomplished, or were you like, dang, I want more now?
So my goal changed a little bit. Nobody had gone on a mission and then come back and won an NCAA championship.
Really?
Yeah, so we had Andrew Hochstrasser. He came back and took second, and I wanted to win at that point. So I'm like, all right, I want to go show you can go take 2 years off, serve the Lord, and then win.
Oh, dang. So you had a deeper purpose there. That's awesome.
And then I get to the finals, and I lose in overtime. I'm like, oh, my word, I was so close.
Yeah.
It was really hard. Grateful that I was a finalist, grateful I was an All-American, but I was like, dang it anyhow. Then the next year, I take a step back and take fifth. So I'm like, it's coming out of reach, you know? Like, it's not, I thought it would be like a linear progression, right? Like, but that, you see that it's not like that in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. How do you deal with that mentally? Like when your progression's not linear, like you said.
That's a good point. I think falling back on the principles of, the coaching staff of focusing on effort and being grateful, focus what you can control. It's like, I'm not perfect at that, but I think it's helpful.
Yeah. Just focus on what you can control, and the outcome will take care of itself.
Yeah. And then you took third the final year before your title?
No, I took fifth.
Oh, fifth. Was there a third in there?
No. Second, fifth, and then
second, fifth, and then so when all the chips are in that final year, how does it feel preparing for that?
We had a stacked weight in the sense that we were all seniors.
Yeah.
Like Logan Storley, and then the Iowa kid, Evans, and Kokesh from Nebraska. Like, they were all seniors with me, so it was kind of a coin toss who was going to win, to be honest.
Yeah, and you wrestled all those guys like
a bunch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was pretty crazy that you guys were all the same class. That was a stacked weight. Did you? And they're all Big Ten. I mean, there were some guys that weren't, but those main guys were all Big Ten.
Yeah, so we were just beating each other up every week.
Yeah, it seemed like like I always felt like watching, like you would beat a lot of them, but it was like you guys would sometimes it would be like flip flop, A beats B, B beats C, C like it would go around. Was that fun to kind of have guys that were all like pushing you and motivated?
And they were all better scramblers than me, so I had to I worked with Coach Cunningham a bunch.
Yeah,
leg passes and stuff that I normally wasn't doing.
Yeah,
because they were good at scrambling. So that was a fun evolve. Had to evolve there.
Was there any wrestling? It's not really this way, but was there any conversation between you guys, like especially your senior year, like, hey, see, how's it going? Like, we're kind of like almost like co-workers, colleagues at this point.
I know,
like,
it's like almost like an NFL team where these people, you're playing them every week, playing them for years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At the end, I think I asked what they were going to do, but we had wrestled each other a bunch. I think I wrestled Evans from Iowa 9 times.
Oh, jeez.
9 times.
Yeah, it's a lot.
In college?
In college.
Wow.
Yeah. Then
I think 3 years.
Yeah, that's insane. I think you figured him out, the grind ride.
Yep. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. I remember that match specifically I think it was at Bryce Jordan that year, and I was like, dude, you just freaking you got him, you figured them out. And then you wrestled in the NCAAs as well, right?
Yeah, semis, similar match, to be honest.
Yeah, similar.
Not too exciting, but
yeah,
kind of a top.
Got it done.
We were at that Nationals, right?
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, St. Louis.
And yeah, take us through your finals match. That was crazy.
Finals match was like, ugh. So 2 years before, I felt like I was pushing the pace, guys backing away. And then fast forward, it's the same ref.
Oh, same ref.
I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, I know him. Same ref, and then I feel like very similar. My opponent's backing up. He's like working the edge of the mat. And then I get a takedown, then I give up a takedown, and I'm like, oh my word, I'm not losing this one again.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to get away, anything I could at the end. So crazy ending. Not the way I wanted to win, but
right.
Got it done.
Yeah, got it done.
What was the quote you had after? It was really good. It was a really good quote.
It was something akin to, like you dream of winning with a grand slam, and sometimes you win on a bunt. I feel like it went against me my first time in the finals, so
yeah,
I was due.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah. And watching that match, it was like to me, it was like you were clearly better. He kind of snuck one on you, and then it was like, it ended the way it ended. Yeah. So yeah. No, it was the right guy won. Right guy won. I'm sure you feel the same way.
So there was this video. I think I brought it up years ago, but on YouTube it was the top 4 worst high school wrestlers to win an NCAA title, and we were both on.
Yeah.
What? The worst high school wrestlers?
Yeah, we were both on it.
No way.
Yeah.
How does that work?
That
doesn't make
we
sense.
didn't have a lot of accolades.
Yeah. Were you recruited coming out?
No, I mean I had I had like a full ride to like Rider, like a couple of Jersey schools, but I like sought out Penn State hard, and then I had like other visits set up.
I'm pissed right now. I'm sorry. That makes me mad.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
So I was one time Jersey State champ.
Okay.
And that's like equivalent to 3 or 4 Utah, so it's like that's kind of the same thing. But yeah, I forget who the other 2 were, but Matt Brown beat me out for the top spot, so it was like
he was number 1, you were number 2?
Me, yeah.
That's
wow.
Funny, that's more of a testament to Coach Kale on the team than anything.
Yeah.
That's
a little
true.
bit us, but yeah, what was that like 8-year culmination for you, like? Because I know for me it was like it felt like a big weight lifted off my shoulders when I finally accomplished it. Also with me a little different because I didn't have like the taste of All-American leading up to it, so it was like even more so of one big event. But what was the culmination of like maybe starting wrestling, then high school, and that whole process? Did you feel like that was kind of the cap to your wrestling career? Or did it not like feel as big to you?
No, it definitely was the cap. Even so much so, I was like hard to find motivation for freestyle.
Yeah,
like, I did what I came here to do,
right.
and very fortunate too. But it seemed like you were more confident. It's like you knew what you were gonna do as soon as you had your shot. Is that?
Yeah,
that's an outside perspective. Is that how you actually felt?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Like day one, I stepped on the campus. I felt like I knew 100% I was going to be a national champion, but I didn't know like at all what that entailed. So like for me, it was more like learning year after year, like how much I actually would have to do to achieve it. Wow. So I had like some blind confidence because in high school, I didn't qualify for the state tournaments my senior year. And like after my junior year, I just like decided I was going to win and worked extremely hard that off season and then won it. And so I was like, oh, I'll just do the same thing. Freshman year. Wow. And then I realized like when I got there, I started wrestling like you and Bo, and I was like, I don't know wrestling at all.
So the first time you wrestle in your state tournament is when you win it?
Yeah. So it was the same thing as college.
It's weird too.
You told everyone watch out in college.
Yeah.
He gets a shot.
Yes.
That was the same thing that you did in high school. I did in high school. It's 2-1-1-1, and then it's weird how that repeated.
Yeah,
I'm sure that probably happens more than you think.
I think it happens a lot.
Yeah, learn the same lessons.
Yeah,
too stubborn.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I since I was a kid, I had like blind confidence, but then I like started realizing what true confidence is, and I had to like clean things up and like start putting in the real work. But the vision was always there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I listen to this podcast. It's called Founders. It's really good. It's just about history's greatest entrepreneurs, and this guy just goes over their biographies and autobiographies and all the content you can find on certain people. And this one thing that he says consistently is, that a lot of entrepreneurs have said, is that they go into whatever endeavor they're trying to accomplish or whatever business they're trying to have success in, and they know they like have a this like blind confidence, as you said, like they know they're going to do it, but they look back and they're like, if I knew the amount of work that I knew I was going to do it, but I didn't know the amount of work it was going to take. Looking back, if I knew the amount of work it was going to take, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But you have to almost have that blind confidence to accomplish these things, because if you really like already know every single little thing it's going to take, that could probably really deter you.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to be able to do that. But if you just take it day by day and work and focus on what you can control, then it's like you look back and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I dealt with way more than I thought I would in this. And but you still ended up at the same place that, you knew the ending before the beginning started, right? Like Bonnie says. But yeah. I always thought that it's always interesting, the parallels.
For sure.
It's not like a rational thing to do. Like if you knew all that work, you only do it because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Then you just make it happen. That's cool.
For sure. There definitely has to be, you have to be pretty irrational in certain ways to like accomplish some of those things.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's a weird balance, because you want to come at it from an intelligent way and you don't want to just like, go in blind, but you also have to like be a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to ask you about Mission Accomplished, your book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because we both want to write a book. I'm in the early stages of it. So I'm curious about like that process, how it was for you to get your story out there personally, and then the effect that it had on the people reading it.
Yeah, there was a kid at this camp. He came up to me and said, "Oh, I read your book." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it's been 10 years since I wrote it, and it was just to capture a little bit of gratitude for the sport, because I didn't know how much longer I was going to keep wrestling for, and then also the lessons I learned. I wanted to pass some of those along, and then tell my story, right? So that's kind of the purpose of the book. I went through Amazon, used CreateSpace, and so I didn't use a publisher like a traditional publisher. I think you'd probably have more of an outreach, but less control if you did that.
Yeah.
I loved writing it. It was fun to kind of think of all the memories I've had for 20 years, right? I finished wrestling when I'm like 26. I started when I was 5. It's like, holy cow, it's a lot. It's a big part of my life, and it still is. Even when people like see Penn State wrestling, they'll always have questions. They'll always ask about it. So it's always going to be part of my life, which is cool.
Yeah.
What would you want to write your book on?
It's probably something similar. Like now that I'm kind of out of wrestling, just getting that chapter of my life out there. Similar to your story, I think I have a little bit of responsibility to get it out there for kids that aren't the prodigies or have a lot of talent, or for me, if I had your book growing up, it'd be easier for me to see the possibility of it. So I'm hoping that if a kid's like, oh, I never qualified for state and now I'm a senior, or like, I got hurt, or I can't afford college, or lost the wrestle off. So hopefully, people can identify with that and be inspired.
It's funny, like the challenges we go through just make it for a better story. Like the fact that you didn't go to your state tournament until your senior year. Now it's just a better story.
Yeah.
Now it's just cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool. But was it kind of therapeutic for you to get that all out there?
Yeah, and very, took some time to reflect and things, and it was great. I probably should read it again, because there's lessons in there. Like we don't have it all figured out. Everyone's still like working on these principles of trying to live in gratitude and things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm probably due.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How do you feel like, I guess, as you mentioned, there's always progress to be made and like stuff to come back to, but in the season of your life that you're in now, how do you feel like all the lessons that you learned in wrestling and through the coaches at Penn State affect you on a daily?
The principle through wrestling of like, just work hard and you're going to have success. I think that's true for professions, right? Right now I'm an attorney, I'm a prosecutor, and like, just work hard, you're going to have success. You show up prepared, you're going to do well. And so I was taught through wrestling, just work hard and you'll have success. And I think that's so true.
Yeah. Why do you feel like, I mean, that's a very simple lesson. It's like, seems like very simple, but it's tough to execute. And why do you think people struggle with the execution part?
Yeah, that I don't know. I have a drive to be good, right? Like I want to be good at my job. Coach Kell said something. I came back on one of these visits, like every couple of years I'll come back, and Coach Kell said something. He said, believing in yourself is a skill, and like everything we do is a skill, which I'm like, oh, dang, and if it's a skill, it's something we can get better at. And so being a good prosecutor, being a good attorney, like it's a skill, meaning put in time, put in effort, you'll get better at it. So I don't know.
Maybe it's perspective.
Yeah.
Like people, they don't think of things like that as I can improve on this.
Yeah.
It's just you have it or don't, when in reality you can get better at it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And even my scrambling, I never considered myself a good scrambler. And then like I out scrambled some of the kids that were really good. So like obviously it's a skill.
Yeah.
You put in time with Coach Cunningham and you get better and then you can perform.
Yeah. Do you see yourself being a prosecutor for the long term? What are some of your goals with your career?
That I don't know. I'm doing it right now and I absolutely love it. I'm a trial counsel for the Army. So we'll see. I might do defense at some point. So I might hop back and forth. Who knows?
It's probably good to know both sides, like understand
is.
different perspectives and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Sweet.
How did you always think, were you always motivated to be involved in the military?
Yeah, I wanted to serve. I obviously like some of the benefits of free schooling. Now everyone on the team gets scholarships.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's different now.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But I was trying to get school paid for, and so I was thinking about going to West Point and really like that mission. And then Coach Kell said, "Hey, come and do ROTC," and very grateful for my service. I don't know how long we'll keep doing it for. I've got a family, and moving around every couple of years, it gets old.
Right.
But for right now, we're enjoying it. So
yeah,
fun.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time, man. This is awesome to kind of reflect on some stuff and hang out for a bit.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. You, I guess you plug the book a little bit. You can,
anything else you want to leave the viewers with?
No, appreciate Penn State Wrestling. Appreciate you guys having a conversation. When you asked me, I'm like, yeah, those guys are cool. I'd love to talk to them.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I feel like with, so for us, we have so many people around us that are super high performing and amazing people that I feel like have had their own stories and lessons that are going to help me as an individual, but also like a broad audience. And when we ask a lot of our friends to talk, they're like, "Oh, like the podcast?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's just one." I'm like, "Yeah, like that's kind of the reasoning." And two, we try to make it just a conversation, very conversational. You know, it's but it's interesting because it's like this is a conversation we could have post practice or something like that. In the sauna, right? Like that's kind of the vibe, but. It's fun. Yeah, and it's great for us, I think, as people, and also for everyone that listens to learn some of those lessons. So we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good seeing you guys.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.